All summer, blazing to the sunrise, gazing into your eyes, dancing in the moonlight. All summer, your kisses I'm a dreamer.
Legendary Podcast. Legendary Podcast. Legendary Podcast. Legendary Podcast. You ain't ready. You ready? You ain't ready.
Ready for Savon.
You ain't ready.
Ready for Savon.
Ready. Legendary Podcast. What's up, young world? What is up, young world? Okay, so guess what? I got a special treat. If you don't know this man, you need to. Okay, it goes by the name of Martini Harris, co-starred in the movie Corner Store, BET Comic View. He is a Detroit industry professional. Entertainment has taken him all over the entire country. Welcome to the Savon Legendary Podcast, Mr. Multifaceted, multi-talented, Martini Harris.
What up, though?
Bill.
Yeah, that's what it is. I done did it. I done did the retarded version of it. No, I can't say retarded. I'm sorry.
No, we're gonna be politically correct.
Yeah. Because I was politically rude, but you know.
So check this out, Martini. Listen, man. Okay, Corner Store was in theaters. I went to go see that. Personally, loved it. Man, you've been doing comedy for so long and has mastered your take on comedy. Can you just give them a little background on what you've accomplished so they know, so they can qualify you real quick?
Oh yeah, man. Things that I accomplished as far as a multi-performer on BT's Comic View. That's where I made my television name from. Worked with Def Jam as well. Also working with Island Def Jam by being on Redman's album, Who's Reggie Noble, the Malpractice.
I forgot about that. Shout out to Redman. Shout out to Melanie Rutherford. Shout out to Gilla House.
Yeah. It's a skit on there, track 12. A skit on there called the Jerry Swinger Stick Up Kit, and we had to say swinger for political, for legal purposes.
Yeah.
So,
what album is that on again?
The Malpractice. Who's Reggie Noble?
Yeah. The Malpractice. Redman, Reggie Noble. He's on that album. Listen, man. Listen, Martini. Listen, it's a pleasure to have you on here. I know you very well. Always been a fan, obviously. So listen, this world of comedy, how come like everybody think they're a comedian? Rappers want to be comedians want to be rappers, athletes want to be them both. What is it about comedy that make everybody want to be a part of it?
Well, let me say this first. The way you put that, because that's exactly what's going on. And the only thing I can come up with is nobody want to stay in their lane.
Talk about it.
Yeah, nobody want to stay in their lane. They feel as though that they accomplished their lane, so they see other people in their own lane that's not probably doing as good as they think they could do. So they jump off in their lane to try to accomplish. It's almost like a Bo Jackson type thing. Bo Jackson was a great baseball player as well as a football player. So, it's okay to be a Bo Jackson about yourself, but don't stress yourself out where you'll be a superstar in one spot and just be looked at in another. So,
preach what I'm talking about. Listen, man, I get told all the time, like, Savon, you funny as shit. You should be a comedian. I said, you should close your mouth. There's no way I'm getting on stage and people paying for me to make them laugh on cue. See, I'm funny because you don't see it coming. I ain't supposed to be funny. So that's what makes me funnier.
Right on.
I'm not doing that shit. You're crazy. You're crazy. Now listen, there's some people that you and I both know, okay,
Right on.
that has been slated and tapped to play Richard Pryor in I feel like the Richard Pryor biopic movie is like Dr. Dre's Detox. We don't know if we're ever gonna get it.
Right.
Now, among those people was a big homie of mine, Nick Cannon. That's one of my guys. Somebody that you know better than I do goes by the name of Mike Epps, right?
Right.
And definitely last but not least, yourself. Now, I've seen a whole lot of Mike Epps on television, like the rest of the world. Know Nick Cannon personally.
Right.
Nick, you my guy. Mike, what up? Neither one of them got shit. See, this is the difference. They do Richard Pryor. You are. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, how did you tell me about how you got into like doing Richard Pryor?
Well, actually, it's almost slated in a sense as Eddie Murphy's upcoming, so but I'm not gonna go through that. So I'm just gonna tell you my story so that way you can see that it was almost slated like Eddie Murphy's instead of making two stories. But anyway, when I was little, man, my mom boyfriend at the time used to listen to Richard Pryor and Red Fox, and it was I remember it was a green tape deck, and it was called Club 75. Club Lafayette. Called Club Lafayette. It was a young Richard Pryor and a young Red Fox. So in a sense, it was almost like a versus. But they wasn't battling each other. Richard say like a couple of bits, and then Red Fox will, somebody has Red Fox playing a couple of his bits, and then back and forth, So everything that Rich said, and not to take from Red Fox because he was funny, but Rich stuff had me tripping out. So it was
as a kid.
Yeah, it was a glitch.
Wow.
It was a glitch in the taping of it. Where I heard the glitch and I said, well, no, that didn't sound right. And I picked it up. It's just like, just to get off track for a minute, it's just like the movie Joe Clark, Lean on Me, Joe Clark. If you've seen the movie, there was a delay with the speech and the lip movement. So, I told them, check out. And that's how I ended up getting that voice. So now jumping back on track, it was a glitch like that with the Richard Pryor thing, because it was something that he said, and his niche was always and he always scratched his mustache. So I used to always practice it every day. Like my mama tell me go light my cigarette, but I didn't say it loud. I was like, shit, I ain't lighting the motherfucking thing. What? I said, yes, ma'am. But I used to practice that every day.
Under your breath.
I do it just to be doing it. Like I say, I hit a girl, I push a girl, she be like, stop. I'm like, shit, you stop, motherfucker. And she like, nobody knew I was acting like this Richard Pryor dude. They didn't know who Rich was, But I do.
The whole while you practicing.
About Rich. But you were talking about the movie. But if you want to talk about when it started back in the early 90s, and it was with Damon Wayans. He was the first said to play Richard Pryor, where he said Richard Pryor at his home. But Richard Pryor went through one of his episodes where Damon was telling him how much he loved him, how much he respected him and admired him or whatever. And Rich was like, man, get the fuck out of here. And you know how black people, we say get the fuck out of here, we be like, no, for real. But his wife, Jennifer, said, no, he wants you to leave. And he was like, wow. So about time he got home, and he told this story on the Arsenio Hall show. This is the first Arsenio Hall. And he told the story about the whole get up, man. And during that time, I had won, early on before that, I had won a competition. It was a Richard Pryor impersonation competition.
Where was the competition at?
In Atlanta. ATL. Yeah,
Mr.
and that's how I
A-Ho.
met. Yeah, that's how I met my boy Mad Marv that also did Comic View. And
Mm.
Mad Marv did a great Richard Pryor as well. So excuse me.
Bless you.
That ain't COVID. It's a sneeze, not a cough. But I ended up winning first place. I won $3,000 and I signed a contract with Paramount and TriStar Films because they were the one that was going to do the movie. But since Damon Wayans had went on to, explaining what happened, how the movie was pulled from him, and man, I cried. I literally cried for a week. Like, I'm like, man, if they pulled it from him, then I know they pulled, you know what I'm saying? So it was always something with the movie, you know what I'm saying? So, but I never stopped rehearsing. Dude, I've been rehearsing, believe it or not. And if it was a thing that I can actually go through Guinness Book of World Record, dude, I do Richard Pryor literally every day since 93. No, I go way back. I was in high school. I went to Martin Luther King High School. I go way back to high school.
Doing Richard Pryor every day.
Every day. I did it today.
Well, how about this? How about, can I talk to Richard for a minute?
Say, man, you can talk to me whenever the fuck you want, right? Shit, man.
So
God damn.
So Rich, listen, man. I know I owe you $5, right? And I'm gonna get it to you. But can I borrow another 20? I'll give it to you next week.
Well, let me tell you where you're wrong at, motherfucker. Shit, because that was 5 when I gave it to you. But the stretch long and your ass holding it to me, motherfucker, shit then stretched out. Now, nigga, you owe me $472,000 motherfucking $50. Don't ask me how the change got there. I just know it's that.
No, Rich, man, listen, man. It's a lot of young comics coming up, Richard. What's your take on the new crop of comedians coming up? What do you think, man?
Man, I just say, like, man, it's errors. People just want to do errors. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, either play the game or get the fuck off the remote control, right? Shit, that's what I get down with, right? Niggas be talking about this nigga do drugs. I don't give a fuck, motherfuckers. Drugs did me, right? Shit, got that Richard? Motherfucker, nigga went to smoke Leroy, you get fucked up on Richard, right? But anyway, man, it's just, man, it's a different category. It's an avenue, to this game. You got to get in how you fit in. And then once you fit in, motherfucker, you got to do shit to stay, right? I know motherfuckers that sold their soul, right? Because shit, man, when I died, I seen a couple of motherfuckers that supposed to went the other way, right? That was right there lingering. Like, life didn't know where the fuck to put these motherfuckers, right? I seen 2 car thieves, right? Man, this motherfucker, man, I know the nigga that stole my car, shit. I went up there telling, until I found out they got a hell for snitching, right? I said, shit, baby, who seen that? Baby, I thought I was blind till I seen you. Hey, hell yeah, shit.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now look, watch this. Say, hey, all my producers, all my director friends, listen, can we please get this Richard Pryor movie so Martini can go ahead and knock that shit out the park? Now watch this. Gotta take me a little sippy sip. Don't worry about sipping my cuppy cup. All right.
Yeah.
So listen, man, watch this. Now what? I was reading a little bit on Richard Pryor, and I read something that I had no idea about.
Okay.
And that was with Richard and his wife and some other people said that Richard Pryor was gay. Now listen, his wife, it goes on record and says, no, that's not true. Richard Pryor was not gay. However, he did have some, I quote, dalliances with other men, which is another fancy word for a fling. Now,
right.
women being, you know, lesbian or men being homosexual, obviously that's nothing new to, I mean, it's been homosexuals and lesbians since the dawn of time. So, but I will say, I have a stance on this. I want to know what you think about, how do you feel about, within, I'll say maybe the last 25 years, the abundance of lesbian and homosexuals and other people in the LGBTQ community, I always fuck that up, expressing themselves more and more publicly in the entertainment business. You know, I'm a hip hop guy, so I think of people like Lil Nas X, and I think about Kid Cudi, who wore a dress hosting Saturday Night Live. I think of Young Thug wearing a dress for his album cover. Do you see that kind of stuff?
I mean, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with that. I have no problem with, you know, people in the LGBTING community. I ain't got no problem with them at all. You know what I'm saying? They doing their thing. But here's my take, my opinion.
Give me yours.
My opinion on that is, I'm not gonna worry about. No, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not.
Please let them know what that was, so they don't think this my Wi-Fi fucked up, please.
Yeah. Well, when I mess up something, I have to rewind it so I can stay on path, because if I take it back and then just go, I don't know where the hell I'm going. So it'll basically take me there. Just like, yo, guys. Yeah. So anyway, here's my take on it. And my thing is, if I worry about how Lil Nas X is and what he's doing and other people, I'm taking away from thoughts that I can be creative within myself and making myself grow, because I'm worried about who's gay, who's a lesbian, and why this, why that. That's not my problem, because even if I figure out something, it's not going to stop them from being the way they are. You know what I'm saying? And then they have a whole team that's protecting them as well. So why play shut in for yourself, you know, to be ignored when you can ignore what they're doing and let them be them and be accepted who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you can be straight and not gifted, or no, you can be straight and not talented. You know what I'm saying? Just as well as you can be in that community, them letters of community, and be very talented. And then you wonder why they are getting all the work. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not working about you. They're not thinking about what you do and how you do it, or how you think about them, or how you judge them. Same thing. Because they too busy, they don't have time. My thing is, no matter what you go through, if you contemplate on the problem, you'll never have room in your mind for a solution. So you got to stop and think about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? With my career, I take God with, because my thing is, God is not in it. I don't want no parts of it. And I'm a man of boldness. And what I mean by that is that I'm not a fear prayer. You know what I'm saying? And let me break that down. A fear prayer is a person who can pray and ask God for what they want. But behind that, I can send a bold prayer and say, well, God, everything that I ask for, whatever you don't see fit for my life that may hinder me, keep me far from it. And that includes the Pryor movie. If he sees something, some type of hindrance that I can, which I know I will get an Oscar in it, because I feel it in my heart. You know what I'm saying? And I've been seeing that movie. And the thing is, like my bishop always said, if you don't see it before you see it, you'll never see it. Dude, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing it. Dude, I hold the Oscar in my hand every day. You know what I'm saying? Just like this, I just won an award, Detroit Choice Award from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I run a big crystal, but the box is, I mean, my phone is sitting on it right now. But here's the ring. that I got.
We'll talk about that championship ring. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I won this shout out to Dave Bishop.
Mhm.
He's the founder, CEO of what it used to be Dave's Choice Awards. And this was his 5th annual. So now he changed it to Detroit's Choice Award. And what it is like not just Detroit, anybody, anywhere, any state can vote for you. You know what I'm saying? You being the favorite of whatever category. In my field,
shout out to Detroit. Shout out to everybody who voted. I mean, I've won a music award. I've been nominated and for other things and all that type of thing. It's gotta feel great. I mean, we're doing things, you know, we love to do, and to get that recognition, it's gotta be. I know for me, it was something that nobody never take away from me. They could have voted for anybody, and they chose me. And you know, that recognition, it take half the pain away, at least for a moment of working. You know what I'm saying?
all day.
Now let me ask you this. It's kind of a perfect segue, because you said everywhere I go, I take God with me, right? So, I'm steering this a certain way because I want your take. So first of all, to stay on topic of what we're talking about when we're talking about the LGBTQ, I'm gonna get that shit right one day. Community.
Right.
Do you think that, okay, sidebar, I don't understand that community. Please help me out, comment below. I don't understand the difference. Like, I don't know what the word lesbian means. If you're a female and you're gay, then you're a gay female. If you're a male and you're gay, then you're a gay male. I don't understand why it has to be a separate name for a gay female. The word gay is already there, or homosexual is already there. I don't understand it. Lesbian, but that's me.
Well, lesbian is actually a statement said real fast, matrix fast. And when you slow it down, you hear the statement. But lesbian, slow it down. Let's be involved with each other. Lesbian each other. Let's be in each other.
Is that's what you got out of that?
Lesbian.
That's what you got out of that?
Let's be involved. See, and then
so watch
like,
this. If that's true, let's do the same thing with peanut butter.
Huh?
Let's do the same thing with peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Saying slow?
Yeah.
Peanut. Oh.
Listen, that was a good one, and I just freestyled that. I never said that. That wasn't bad.
Peanut
So look, but what I was trying to get to, because this is funny. We're having fun. I got it's a controversial question, and I have a stance on it, but I want your stance on it. And the question is, do you think that, let's just go with the word gay and let's go with male just for the sake of this conversation. Do you think a gay man is born gay?
No, really? Because now, what to ask me that question, I would have to go through my Heavenly Father's word, or not even just his word, but how he's presented. You know, he's a man without faults. He's without, all right, he's without faults. He's flawless. He don't make mistakes.
Okay.
He don't sin. So you can't. So he don't design. He put a man to sleep and ripped his rib from him and created woman.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, I put a man to sleep, pull a mirror out, doubled it, and blew breath in both of them, and they happily fell in love, dick swinging.
So, jeez. just said Jesus. Okay, so you don't believe. Okay, so you okay. So if that's true, now I'm asking questions. You know, I do have a stance, but I'm not interviewing myself. So
Right.
if a gay man is not born gay, in your opinion, how do you think a gay man born heterosexual, because you said they're not born gay, becomes gay?
The same way,
your opinion.
the same way a child is born and grow up and become an architect. You go out and learn. That's how you become gay. You go out and learn it. Is all behavior is behavior control.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. I mean, you're not born architect. You're not a born rapper. You come out and you develop that. So
Okay.
no, God didn't give that to you.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, I'll take a page from my personal life experience. I have personally witnessed a boy, great family, 3 years old, dials, 4 years old, mom's heels, 5, 6 years old, don't want to play nothing that may be seen as masculine, would rather do things that may be perceived as feminine.
Well,
Hold on. 10 years old, switching makeup, playing in mom's makeup. Mom don't know. This is not something the parents are necessarily condoning. Let's just assume they don't know. Okay.
right.
Grows up, comes out of the closet, 19 years old, and says, "Hey, I'm a gay man. I am homosexual. I'm tired of hiding it. I'm tired of being scared to say something like this. I'm scared of the ridicule, etc." And people around say, "We already knew that since you was 3 years old." Now, let's assume there was nothing in his immediate environment as a young child that could teach him that from a behavior standpoint. In your opinion, how would you explain that?
Again, I would explain it the same way, because from the age of 2 to 5, you develop something nobody can give you, and that's a personality. You can learn a lot from a personality, and you mimic. You know, everybody.
But just for in the experience that I'm talking about was my own. This is not necessarily a hypothetical. This is, parents straight, never argued, never fought, never struggled with money. Went to church, the whole nine. It was nothing apparent that could possibly at 3 years old. Now, mind you, 3 years old, you have no concept of sexuality. You don't know what gay is or straight is or girls are or boys are. You don't, those things are, you haven't developed those concepts. All you know,
right,
that, you know what? I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to play fighting games. I would rather play with a My Little Pony.
Well, same thing, man. God don't make no mistakes. And again,
so okay. I love that.
Wait.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
3 years old. That's and it. All right. You look at you're looking at that as, well, let me say this. I'll look at that 3 years old thing as a ratio thing, because you got to understand, like they say, well, even the zodiac signs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still on the same subject, but I'm using something else, oxymoron.
Okay.
Just like the zodiac signs. Oh yeah, Aquarius crazy. All Aquarius crazy. All Capricorns like this. Sagittarius. No, it's not.
Now you know me. You both are Aquarius. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but I know some famous and very wealthy Aquarius than I know a murderer Aquarius. That don't mean that all Aquarius are the same. You know, just like the 3-year-old.
Okay.
A 3-year-old, some of them, you can develop a lazy, like they say, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, because that is the strongest muscle in our body. Your cerebral cortex, that is the strongest muscle in your body. And actually, you're not actually dead until your brain dead. So that's the powerfulest thing right there. So with that being said, unless a 3-year-old, unless you can show me a 3-year-old that closes his or her eyes all the way until they're to the age of 8 and keep their eyes closed as if they were blind and say, I choose to look in about 5 or 6 years, and then I'll open my eyes. Until you can show me a 3-year-old that can do that, then I'll say it's something wrong with the genetic thing. Other than that, a 3-year-old watching stuff and looking at things, you are what you eat and you become what you hang around. You know what I'm saying? So if you cling to mama, if you see mama all the time, daddy gone, even daddy and mama together, sometimes mama ain't there. That's why they say a woman can't raise a boy to be a man. I don't care how hard she tries. And you got some mothers out here, you know, that's playing mommy and daddy.
They have to. Some of them have to, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So, but you can't raise a boy to be a man. It'll never happen. You're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? You want him to do the fist, power to the people, instead of the broke wrist, but he ain't shot a basketball. You know, this is the finishing of a basketball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you ain't shot no basketball and he doing this, boy, you better unbreak that wrist. Man, you better get your hand off your hip. Man, you better put some bass in your voice.
Okay. Now watch this. Two things. You say that God makes no mistakes.
No, right.
If a child is born with that's showing these type of behavioral traits, and I'm talking about homosexual behavioral traits, did God make a mistake?
No.
So if that child was born that way with those traits, and God don't make no mistakes, then what's wrong with it then?
Well, I'm finna break it down to you. God don't make no mistakes. Okay, let me take it here first. And it's short, but let me take it here first.
Okay.
God said, I would never leave you nor forsake you. Okay. I would never put too much on you that you can't bear.
Okay.
But even though we feel heaviness on our life, that's when he come back and say, I said I wouldn't. I never said you wouldn't. Same thing. A child born that way, God didn't make that child like that. It's the chromosome between the two people. He gave us the sperm. Now, two different people. That's why they say you got to make sure. You have to make sure who you have a child with. Like, you know, you got the white people, man, they do the whole background thing before they, you know, the rich parents. Okay, where did he come from, man? This and that. They actually take them to like a sperm bank. Like, look at his sperm. Like, what is it? Is it intelligent? And is it this? Do this, that?
Okay.
And how the oldest posture? They do that shit.
I didn't know that you could guesstimate a level of intelligence by looking at the sperm. That's new.
Dog. I'm trying to tell you, bro. They do it.
Okay, you know, so let me ask you this.
That's why, like my daddy, and my mama, I'm fucked up.
Jesus. No, wait. Before because I know where you about to go. Hold on, please. No, look. So I'm just trying to. I hear what you're saying, and I'm just trying to understand. So let me ask you this: does God have the power if a woman has HIV and she has a baby with a man who doesn't have HIV, is the child going to be born with HIV or not?
I can't answer that
Okay.
because I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not a science. I'm not.
No, I got you. I got you. No. That was kind of a rhetorical question. So my point is, there. Even a better analogy, you have, and you talk about crackheads all the time. If a person is addicted to, how about this? Both parents, crackheads, they have a drug abuse issue. There has been plenty of babies born with addicted to crack because their parents were addicts. Plenty. That's documented. Does God have the power to make that baby, to make it so that baby is born not addicted to crack?
Well, yeah.
So he has the power to make that, okay, if you say yes, and being homosexual is wrong, first, let's qualify, you believe being homosexual, lesbian is wrong?
Yes, you said Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Okay, I didn't want to put no words in your mouth, that's all.
Right.
So if that's wrong, and God makes no mistakes,
right?
And I'm not saying he does, I'm playing, I hate devil's advocate. I made myself the devil. I'm sorry. But why wouldn't, if that's wrong, and the child has no say-so in how he's born or how she is born, how come God didn't make that child not homosexual or not addicted to crack?
Because that child was born into sin.
But there's other forms of sin.
I mean, but I'm just saying, the child was born into sin, meaning that peace on earth has been removed. I mean, God doesn't have, again, you have to go through the X's and O's, the chromosome of the male and the female.
So you believe there's DNA chromosomes that could be rearranged to where a person will never be gay?
It's the same thing as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin chromosomes in people, they make deformed babies. They'll make elephant man like kids. And that's not a curse that God put on that child. God didn't create that person like that. It was the chromosomes of the male and the female.
But I think we may be giving humans more credit than we deserve, and maybe not giving God enough credit that he. If
that's
God
exactly what I'm saying.
Huh?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so if God created the first human, from there he was like, y'all on your own now. I don't have nothing to do with the creation of humans now going forward.
No, I mean, it was a reason. It was a reason. When God created Adam, to read back in Genesis, when he first created the heavens, and then he created the day, he created the day because the world was with darkness, and it was darker than dark. It was called mist. So he created light and gave the world light. Then he created the heavens and the earth. When he created the earth, and then he saw it was good, but he was missing something. He created a man, and he saw that man was alone. So he gave him rest, ripped his rib from him, and created a woman for a helpmate, and told them to be fruitful.
Fruitful and multiply. Genesis, I'm familiar.
But watch this. But watch this. If Adam and Eve, because a lot of people say the apple, but it was a forbidden tree of some fruit that we will never, it's not even on this earth. This fruit is something else. I don't even know the name of it, but it wasn't an apple. But anyway, Eve biting that apple, or so biting that forbidden, biting something from the forbidden tree. I'll say that.
Okay.
eating something from a forbidden tree because of what the serpent said. And it wasn't the serpent, it was the thing that was within the serpent. He used the serpent where snakes once had legs, but it was cursed for allowing that evil thing to use it as a vessel to deceive that woman. And now it had to crawl on his belly for the rest of his life, as well as his children. So from that forbidden tree, from that look, the devil trying to confuse me right now. Got you. No, he's trying to confuse me right now, but no.
Okay. Now let's pivot a little bit. Let's just pivot just a little bit. But we stand, but let's just pivot. So this is a personal question. You do not have to answer it. It's none of my business or none of my viewers' business either. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I think it's personal. And that is, do you believe everything in the Bible?
I believe what I read in the Bible. And the reason why I say I wouldn't believe because I didn't read everything in the Bible. So
everything you've read, you believe?
Yes.
Now, what if it's okay? So you didn't say, just for shits and giggles, you haven't read the whole Bible. Okay, you said that.
Right.
What if it says somewhere in the Bible that psych? You just didn't get to that chapter.
Right, exactly. But I say this though.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to be as direct as possible, but I would rather it's in my head, right? I'm just trying to pull it out of my mouth the right way as well to match what's in my head, because it's smooth in the head, but it come out
always smooth in the head.
Yeah, it's smooth in the head. It come out. Yeah, the dishwater. I'm like, what? All right, but anyway, I would rather worship my Heavenly Father the best I can, knowing that what He has given the world, His only begotten Son, and what His Son did for me, all of us in that matter, and then even if it's, if it was all a trick thing, rather than going straight off the rip saying I don't believe none of it and it end up being true and lose my soul.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna lose.
You playing the Libra scale. You know what I'm saying? You weighing the pros and the cons. Logically, that makes sense. Makes sense. So let me ask you this. This is my stance. Would you like to know my stance?
Yeah,
I say, would you like to know my stance?
What's your stance?
Well, my stance. This is what I believe. And now, let me just, so the people understand, and you already know this, I grew up church 6 days a week. I was in the children's choir, the adult choir, Bible class. Sundays was done. It'll be Sunday school, afternoon service, everybody take a break, go to lunch, afternoon service, come back, the choir get an A and a B selection. Evenings, Sundays was, I'm just saying this to say 6 days a week until I was probably 16. I'm very, very well versed in the religious side of spirituality, because there's two sides. There's spiritual and there's religious, right?
Right.
I am very well, this is not coming from someone that's, with that being said, this is my stance. My stance is, I do believe, and I'm a words guy, I make money with words. You know this.
Right.
I believe that you are born homosexual. I do believe that you're born. Now, I also believe that you have other people that are interested in exploring experimentation of their sexual, desires, or whatever word you like to put on in place of desires. throughout their journey through this thing called life. But I think those are two different things. I think that when you're a homosexual person, male or female, that is what you are, not what you do. That's because I've seen so. I know a cop. I know a cop here in Atlanta, and me and him had a similar conversation. He had at the time his son was a white cop. At the time his son was maybe 3 or 4, and I said, "Man, we're talking about this." And I said, "What would you do if your son came out?" Now this guy, he was one of those cops that loved to beat people up. He was 6'3", 285. He was a linebacker, tattoo, just looked like WWE. And he said, "I would beat the gay out of him." I said, "This shit." A couple of things here. Let's not beat nobody. First of all, your kid included. Number 2, I don't think being homosexual is something that you can beat out of. I don't think if that's that's like, I'm gonna beat the black off you. Well, you can beat me until I turn black and blue, but when I heal up, I'm still gonna be back black. You can beat your son all you want. As soon as he heal up, if he's homosexual for real, he's still gonna be homosexual once he's healed up. So that's my stance on whether you're born or not. That's my stance on that. On the other topic we're talking about, as far as when I asked you, do you believe what you read in the Bible? I know a lot about the Bible. This is my take on the Bible. I think there's 3 things. I think there are things that I believe that are in the Bible. There are things that I want to believe that are in the Bible. And there are things I don't believe that are in the Bible. Now, how did I get to this? And I'm going to ask you your take on this. When it comes to things I'm a logical guy. 2 + 2 is 4. So if all of these books of the Bible are written and there's books that were left out, the book of Enoch and some other books, my question is, why? Why were they left out? Number 1. Number 2, who had the authority to either include or exclude books of the Bible? The reason this is important is because obviously Christianity is the biggest religion or most popular on earth, followed by Islam, right? So my thing is, who had the power to say, because it shapes and forms our culture, obviously, for millennia upon millennia. It shapes us. So what's in it is very important. So what's your take on some books of the Bible being left out, and who had the power to do that or not? And because we're gonna move on to something else. But I want to get your take on this.
Okay, I'll say this first. The person who created the wheel is also the creator of the circle. You get me?
Okay, break that down.
The person who's the creator of the wheel is also the creator of the circle.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by that is just like your take on what you just said. You said that's my take on about the Bible.
Sure.
Like who had the authority? Okay, and I said about the circle and the wheel. It's because people want they want to be shone upon, just like Lucifer.
Okay.
Lucifer wasn't a bad name, like Satan, the devil, the evil one. Lucifer was a great name. He was God's favorite angel, the angel of music. Okay, so Lucifer, and just like your take where you said who had the authority. Now they want to be just like Lucifer. Lucifer told God, I want why can't I have the powers just like you? He said, because there's nobody above you.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody is on my same level. You can't have that.
Yeah.
Well, I want it. So he, of course, you already know the story about the Great War.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the same thing with whoever took it out. Like, okay, well, there's no system. There's no conference table. There's no debate around the person who had control to put the Bible together. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody was above them. Right.
It was the first thing first. It was the 12 disciples, because they asked God when he rose from the third day, when he rose the third day and he was about to ascend into heaven.
Mm-hmm.
After he showed himself up into his 12 disciples, and they said, take us with you. And he said, where I go, you can't come yet. But everything that my Father taught me and I taught you, put it into the books and send them out to the gatherers.
Okay, well, if that's so watch this. So watch this right here. If that's true, and he sent people to take the knowledge that he's given them and put it in a book form, right? That's what you're saying.
Right.
Why would God allow books to be written as he commanded and then not allow them to be in?
Okay. Same reason about his commandments. What are God's commandments to you? What do you feel like his commandments are to you?
I feel like they were written by Moses, by God, with God's guidance on the commandments to be the basic rules of how we should live our lives.
Okay, well, let me piggyback off that.
Okay.
You have your business. You have an actual business, your company. If you tell someone, your secretary, and say, write this to such and such,
mm-hmm.
and put it in all caps so he'll know I'm hollering.
Yeah.
Just because she wrote it and sent it and said, hey, Mr. blah, 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 my boss, Savon, sent this to you to blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So should he still take that message? Should he take it to the heart, like that you said it, or because it was his secretary sending it to him? Like, well, you sent it. He just told you to send it. Why he couldn't send it himself? It's still your voice. It's still your word. It's still what you want done. So, with that being said, just like the 10 Commandments, God invite us to him. He's not a controlling father. He invites us.
You don't think so?
No. He invite us. That's a choice. That is a choice. It is not. You better blah blah blah. He put them there for us. It's there for free. He invite us to follow the 10 Commandments.
Okay, so you're saying he's
not an ordering father. He's not.
So you're saying
jealous. He's a jealous father.
So you're saying he can lead us to water, but he can't make us drink. Understood. I mean, watch this. No, I got you. Listen. I'm right here. Now watch this. Before I pivot real, because we don't have a whole lot of time left. I just want to. This is one of my, and I'm sure a lot of people have this issue with a lot of things, Bible being one of them. You put, I'm going to say 12 because 12 disciples. If you put 12 people in a circle, everybody play this game. Whisper one thing and it goes around. And by the time you get around to it's a whole different story. We all play that game. We all familiar with that. Okay.
Right.
The whisper game, circle whisper game, whatever. Now, in my head, I'm like this. If we can't get the same story through 12 people all together for the same reason at the same time, story straight, how do we go from the original Bible was written in either Hebrew or Greek? Okay. How do we now imagine this? Imagine one person that's Iraqi whispers in somebody's ear right? That's Japanese. And that person don't whisper in nobody's ear for 80 years. But by the time they do, they whisper in somebody. Now, this is no translation. So the Iraqi is speaking to the Japanese person who don't know no Iraqi in Iraq language, whatever that language is, right?
Right.
And that Japanese person gets out of it whatever they can understand. 80 years later, whispers in somebody's ear that's Hispanic. Okay? Hispanic never didn't even know Japanese people lived. Didn't know there was a lot. And they gather in Japan, whatever they can gather, and they speak Spanish to somebody who's Greek another 80 years later. Now, magnify that by thousands of years. And my question with that being said is about time we get to 2021, what is that message going to look like? Because that's what happened. That's what happened. The book of the Bible, as we know it, has been translated 200 languages before we got it. So what's your take on that? How do we know for sure that it's accurate and we're receiving it the way it was meant for us to receive it? Now, before you answer that, there's a rule to this, to the way you got to answer this. You cannot fall back on faith. Go. Boom. Martini Harris.
That's easy. All right. I like to think before I speak. So
take your time. We got plenty of time, like 3 minutes. Go ahead. We got plenty of time.
So I say this, bro. Again, I'm gonna go back to what I said before. That God is not an ordering God. He invites us to his commandments. Now, your question now, to answer your question with that, not to fall back out of faith, and it's all faith-based. But 2 Timothy 3:1-5 explains everything, because you got different people that want to follow the right way, but they want to do evil. They want to travel down the evil road to get it. You get me?
I do.
They want to follow the right way, but they want to do the evil part to get it. You know? Okay. And that's all because we on the earth, you got to remember, we on the earth that has no peace. Peace was taken from the earth. That's Revelation 6:1, the seal of the scroll. It explains to you about all 7 horses, how they came upon earth, and what was riding upon them, and what was extracted from the earth. Okay. The red horse, the pale horse, the black horse, the white horse, and so forth. Mm-hmm. So now fast forward. Mm-hmm. 2 Timothy 3:1-5. Mm-hmm. It speaks about today, what's going on this very moment, mm-hmm. about how people will be heady, how people will be lovers, how men will be lovers of themselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? How people will say they love God, but won't do anything godly. How they say they love God and do devilish stuff. Okay. You know? Yeah, I mean, it is a long list of everything of what's going on. Now, I say this to say that I believe the Bible because I actually see a lot of stuff that I've read. I really see that stuff playing out. It's just like the Bible is just like what when Jesus told was that Paul? Mm-hmm. When Jesus told Paul, he said, and when they were asleep, he said one of which he was talking about Judas. He said, one of you all are gonna betray me. Mm-hmm. And they was all asleep, and Paul said, Who, my Lord? Come on, I'll slay him right now. And he looked at Paul and said, while you over there talking, you're going to deny me 3 times
Before the cock crows.
before the cock crows. And he said it. And when he did it, it blew him away. So it's the same thing what he's saying in the Bible, everything that he's saying in the Bible. And he says this too, in a lot, when he say, woe to man. He said, everything has to come to pass before my return.
Now,
Everything-
mind you, I'm familiar with everything you said.
Right.
I'm familiar with it. Now, mind you, these things were all said in the Bible. So my question is, with all the translations and all of the time and all of the missing parts of books that were still included, but there were missing parts, how do we know that what we read today is accurate and we can get it the way it was meant for us to get it back then?
Well, well, you will have to, because you got to understand, you said missing parts. So missing parts will equally be that anything that's missing, you would never know about because you never read about it and you never touched it. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it's saying.
But that doesn't mean it wasn't important. That doesn't mean it wasn't important.
But no, I'm just, even if it was important or not important.
Okay.
It could have said the 20 times in one part. But still.
I might write a song called The. I like it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we don't know. But at the same time, what you do know, we always use our imagination, just like a movie. Some movies have an ending that we'd be like, oh man, it ended like that. That movie was good. And then we got other movies like, oh man, this movie, man, it ended off, man, that was cold. And then you got some movies, they want their audience to use their imagination, where it just go off. And it's like, dang, did they get back together? But it's like, yeah, they got back together. Then somebody else say, no, they didn't. Okay, that's your imagination. I'm sticking with mine. I love the movie just the way as you did, but it's different.
Okay. So what you're saying, is, so you're saying that the Bible leaves room for our own interpretation or imagination?
No, because he said don't lean on your own understanding.
Okay. But you just said at the end of the movie, we don't know what happened. If we didn't know what happened, it's left up to how we imagine it to end. Am I wrong? Did I not get that?
Well, the part that you're not getting is the part that you're not getting when I said that part. I wasn't saying to interpret the Bible that way, but I was just saying everybody has different views. Everybody has different views and intakes. And I was trying to speak of, and I think I didn't make myself clear. That's why it seems, lopsided.
Okay.
But I'm speaking about the parts that's lost, the parts that we'll never read about, the other books that are missing. We don't know nothing about them. So, we would have to go on, like whatever you read. I feel like I'm contradicting myself right now because maybe I confuse myself.
I know what you're saying because I know you.
Yeah. But
I'm not, but I put the rule on there on purpose. What you're ultimately saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I ain't trying to put no words in your mouth.
No, you good.
But what you're ultimately saying is we have what we have. And I'm talking about the Bible. We have, so whether it's missing or lost or whatever, we got what we got. And we have to do the best with what we have, knowing what we already know. It's kind of like if you look at a map and the map says take 75 south and then take 75 south and then take 75 south and then take 75 south. And at the end of it, right before we get to our destination, our Wi-Fi goes out. So what should we do next? Everything else said go 75 south. Should I bust a left? Should I go right? Or should I continue on 75 South? That has to do with faith. And I know it has to do with faith. And that's what you're saying, but it's hard because I remove you falling back on faith. Because at the end of the day, religion, spirituality is all faith is simply what do you believe?
Right.
It doesn't even have to be called faith. It could be called belief. It could be called something else. That's all it is. So you take what you have. If you believe in the Bible, you take what the Bible teaches you, and then you have to fall back on faith on going forward beyond the Bible with the way you live your life, because there's some parts that are missing, and we don't necessarily know how much is accurate or how much is inaccurate. So you really don't have a lot to go on except what you believe about what you know already.
Right on.
Right? Now
Right
watch
on.
this. Martini, the real Martini. That's your IG, the real Martini Harris, right?
Yes. Yes. The
Listen,
real
y'all,
Martini Harris.
please go follow this man. He's hilarious. Obviously, he's layered. Obviously, he's an intellectual and a thinker. Obviously, he's a believer.
Yes.
So
Big time.
we gonna listen. Can I ask a favor? This is episode number 9 of Savon's Legendary Podcast. How would, because you practice this every day, how would Richard Pryor take us out of Savon's Legendary Podcast, episode 9, featuring Martini Harris? How would Richard do it? I need to know. I got to know.
Well, do I get to say stuff after that, or once I finish, then it's gone, or what?
This is the last hoorah.
Okay, well, I gotta say some things before that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Look out for the movie, The Last 24, written, directed by hip hop artist from Detroit, Mr. Trick Trick. He directed and
Christian.
He wrote and directed this movie, everything, the whole 9. So
shout out to Trick Trick, the big Trick Trick is everybody big homie. Shout out to Trick Trick.
Yeah. The Smoke Gang is coming. Well, I got the shirt right there. It's all raw too, right there. It's my dog Big Sweets. Follow him too. Big Sweet. It's all raw.
Big
Smoke
Sweet.
Gang.
Shout out to Trick Trick. Hey Trick, listen, I'm gonna tag you in this shit, Trick. You need to get at me, Trick. Let me look. Where's my camera? Trick, you need to get at me. We need to talk some business. I got some stuff. Anyway, shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit Choice Music Awards awarding Mr. Martini Harris.
Yes, sir.
Awarded Comedian of the Year. Was that it?
Detroit favorite comedian.
Detroit's favorite comedian in Detroit got a lot of talent, including then shine on him, pimp. Shine on him, pimp.
Yeah.
Episode number 9, Save All Legendary Podcast. Can Rich take us out?
Oh yeah. Here we go. Say, man, I hope you motherfuckers enjoyed yourself with the shit these motherfuckers was talking. Because man wasn't no tree, baby. Man, I know, like the darkness. I think the darkness can whoop your ass quicker than 2-3 niggas that's down the alley, right? Because I seen a dark alley and I heard a nigga say, "Give me a piece of that sandwich," and I ran the fuck on, and like, shit, that mother gonna be a nigga with big lips from Detroit, But man, I say this, man. I say, just to carry on. If you want to be with the best, then you be the best. That way, the best will want to be with your ass. So this was episode 9, and I was like, shit, look for 10.
As always, you have watched Savon's Legendary Podcast, episode number, I got long fingers, 9. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. 9 with the incomparable Martini Harris. Go follow him, support,
The
notification
real
bell, share, subscribe. As always, peace, young world.
Podcast. Legendary Podcast. Legendary Podcast. Legendary Podcast. You ain't ready. You ready? You ain't ready.
Ready for Savon.
You ain't ready.
Ready for Savon.